Welcome aboard. Today, we'd like you to join us on our virtual tour around Darwin Port's East Arm Wharf Precinct. The wharf is located 13.5 kilometres by road from Darwin's Central Business District and handles a diverse range of goods. Finished in 2000, the wharf was built on a greenfield site, providing easy access to transport corridors and vacant land for future growth. It is Australia's largest cattle export port, with over 40 years of experience and excellent quarantine services. The Port of Darwin runs the facility on behalf of the Northern Territory Government. The main administration building houses harbour control. It maintains oversight of Darwin Harbour through the use of radar, radio and other communication devices. Any commercial vessels entering or leaving the harbour must communicate with Harbour Control. Control also provides the first line of support for handling emergencies on the harbour. Mayday calls are answered, then connected with the Police Emergency Control Centre. The Port of Darwin is responsible for the safe management of commercial shipping within the port. This includes providing navigation aids, the control of shipping, piloting for vessels and mooring for commercial vessels, as well as finding safe space for cyclone moorings. The building also houses the port's management, corporate and security services sections. Darwin is a port city, and the harbour is regarded by locals as being their backyard. The Port of Darwin makes sure it's looked after. The Port Development and Finance Building, originally constructed in the 90s, houses the accounting, engineering, port development and trade analysis areas. In the last 5 years, the area has been developed for logistics to support both the port and the railway line. The rail terminal supports freight trains carrying containers to Darwin, using the Adelaide to Darwin line completed in 2004. Currently, 6 trains arrive per week, delivering goods for domestic consumption. Operational since 2014, the Shell Prelude Supply Base Complex provides support for a massive floating liquid natural gas plant, which will be located 826 kilometres offshore from Darwin. The facility will be just under 500 metres long and the first of its kind. Once built, it will be the largest floating structure in the world. INPEX's offshore logistics facility provides support to its offshore operations located over 900 kilometres from Darwin. Both Shell's and INPEX's facilities are here because of the port's marine supply base. The Ghan terminal accommodates a passenger train service from Adelaide to Darwin. It runs once a week in the wet season and twice a week in the dry. The adjacent land allows for expansion of the port's fuel holding facility and the construction of a marine industry park. The Darwin Industrial Fuel Terminal was constructed at a cost of $55 million and was completed in 2006. The facility is operated on a long-term lease by Vopak. It receives all the fuel, including aviation gas, used in the Darwin area, and as far south as Alice Springs, west to Kununurra and east along the Barkly. Also located within the fuel holding area is a biodiesel plant. It is the largest in Australia of its type. Biodiesel is produced from renewable plant or animal feedstocks and is commonly used as a replacement for diesel. The Northern Cement facility sees over 200,000 tonnes of clinker imported annually. Clinker is used for creating cement and utilised by the building industry across Northern Australia. In close proximity to the wharf, the Common User Area is a strategic facility that incorporates a common user barge ramp to facilitate important support services for businesses wanting short-term access. Industries include engineering, fabrication, oil and gas support, mining industry services, and transport and logistics. The area has now been expanded from 2 to 9 hectares and will be connected to a multi-user barge ramp facility. The stockpile area allows for bulk ore to be stored, ready for loading onto ships. It can take over 17 trains to deliver enough ore to load a ship for export, and the area can hold over 350,000 tonnes of product. Since the Francis Creek mine began in 2007, the port has exported over 10 million tonnes of the product. Manganese arrives from Bootu Creek by rail, located approximately 400 kilometres south of the wharf. Between 4,500 to 5,000 tonnes arrives per train. Approximately 1 million tonnes is exported annually. The area covers some 40 hectares, providing expansion space for new mining exports. Passing through the gate means we're entering the wharf's security zone. Since 9/11, the port has operated under federal maritime security legislation. The gates are manned by Port Security, performing checks on the up to 1,000 vehicles which enter each day. Past the gate, you're entering land which was once water. The area was reclaimed as part of the development of East Arm Wharf in the late 1990s. The total area reclaimed is in excess of 100 hectares. The first vessel arrived at Stage 1 in 2000, while Stage 2 was completed in 2004, along with the connection to the Adelaide to Darwin rail line. The wharf represents the only multi-user port facility between Townsville and Fremantle. While most other ports in Northern Australia are only built to handle certain types of product, we can facilitate just about any type of cargo. The large tank belongs to ConocoPhillips, from which liquid natural gas is exported every few days. Currently under construction is the INPEX production and supply facility, Ichthys LNG, which includes 2 jetties to export both LNG and LPG. When in full production, it'll handle a gas tanker ship every 2 days. The port provides pilotage and harbour control services that will support the operations and vessel traffic associated with these wharf structures. The land we call Pond K is currently under reclamation. It was filled with dredge material from the Marine Supply Base's construction. The 14-hectare area is a work in progress and will eventually become sufficiently solid to build on. The soil is working to compress the moisture out of the lower levels and dry it out. Since 2014, the Marine Supply Base has cemented Darwin's position as a major oil and gas hub, supporting offshore developments in Northern Australia. It includes 3 berths, over 265 metres of quay line and 6 hectares of land. The Marine Supply Base can handle up to 1,000 vessel calls a year. This facility cost over $100 million and is operated under agreement with ASCO. The Port of Darwin provides facilities at the wharf to maintain the port. Other areas are run by stevedores working on the wharf. The demountable accommodation, conveniently located close to docking vessels, provides facilities for workers and ship's crews visiting Darwin. Facilities include Wi-Fi, computers and telephones, and many crew members seek refuge from shipboard life to communicate back home. The large expanse is a laydown area for cargo. Covering around 4 hectares and offering 4 days of free storage, it is often full with cars and other cargo moving from ships into the NT. Cargo that requires protection from the rain is stored here. Among the varieties of industries that use East Arm Wharf, mineral exporters use the bulk loading system to move their bulk ore products. After the bulk ore products are delivered to the port stockpile area via rail, quadruple trailer trucks are used to move ore from the stockpiles to the dry bulk loading system, which is then conveyed to exporting vessels. Constructed in 2007 at a cost of over $20 million, the facility has already loaded over 18 million tonnes of bulk ores, such as copper concentrate, manganese and iron ore. This is another area under reclamation and will be used to store refrigerated containers for the export of fresh and frozen food. The port currently exports frozen meat and other agricultural and horticultural products. The rail line runs all the way into the wharf and terminates in the container yard. A spur line runs into the bulk loading facility. A number of cargo liners include the wharf as a port of call. Currently, the port handles around 25,000 containers each year. At the end of the wharf are the bulk fuel loading facilities. The two large white structures provide the connection point to tankers, pumping fuel to and from the vessels. The arms move up and down with the tide and provide a stable connection to the ridged pipelines. A 30,000-tonne tanker discharges its cargo in about 24 hours. Pipelines carry diesel, unleaded petrol, aviation fuel and chemicals from the wharf to the fuel storage facility at the Vopak terminal. The quay is 778 metres long and, unlike many other ports, is capable of servicing a wide variety of products as part of its common user purpose. Containers are loaded and unloaded using 3 mobile harbour cranes. Cattle can be loaded at any place along the quay, with around 600,000 head of cattle loaded for export each year. Approximately 700 new cars arrive every month. Large plant and equipment for use in the oil and gas industry is loaded and unloaded. Cement products and building materials pass through the port to support the territory's construction industry. The Australian Defence Force also utilises the area. Around 1,000 vessels use East Arm every year. Its largest ships span over 230 metres and carry approximately 85,000 tonnes of product. The tank storage area loads drilling mud to offshore support vessels. Drilling fluids and muds are an essential part of offshore oil and gas work and are used in the drilling process. The quarantine washdown area is used to clean equipment that's required to be safe before entering Australia. Usually this is military equipment returning from overseas, but also construction equipment, such as trucks and bulldozers. The large shed is half used as undercover storage for cargo, while the other half is a customs clearing area. The fenced area holds containers being treated with chemicals for quarantine purposes. Here, a barge ramp and laydown area is being constructed to support common user and defence activities, while also providing 24/7 landing for coastal barges visiting remote and offshore communities. As the first stage of the proposed Darwin Marine Industry Park, it is another example of the expansion and investment by the Territory and Australian governments that will be made available for future growth and business building in the East Arm precinct. The Port of Darwin is fortunate, as unlike many port cities, it still has physical space to grow. With its close proximity to the city, Fort Hill Wharf continues to be used as a berth for cruise ships and defence vessels. The arrival of cruise ship passengers and defence personnel is of significant economic benefit to Darwin and the Northern Territory. The wharf also provides berthing for tugs and pilot boats used within the Darwin Harbour. Darwin's close proximity to Asia gives the port a strategic advantage over other Australian ports. The space around the port provides a unique opportunity to expand an existing facility with world-class rail and road connections. Expanding infrastructure is an essential part of the development of a successful port. A successful port means a successful city. If the port is doing well, So is the local community.